We are almost halfway through the season already as game week 16 approaches. The league table is starting to take shape and fans will no doubt be hastily flicking through stat packs in order to pick the best possible 11 for this weekend. Chelsea and Manchester City have the unfortunate task of facing each other on Saturday, which could put some rather big names in the ones to avoid. Arsenal will be hoping to put their frustrating 2-2 draw with Manchester United behind them as they take on Huddersfield at the Emirates. United are in a similar boat, desperate to pick up points. Jose Mourinho's side host Claudio Ranieri's Fulham. Elsewhere, Liverpool host Bournemouth and Tottenham travel to Leicester in what is set to be a long weekend of mouth-watering clashes. Here are your top tips for the games ahead. 5 to pick, 5 to avoid, and those dreaded injuries and suspensions that can ruin your points tally. Despite missing a gilt-edged chance against United, Aubameyang is still the top scorer in the league with 10. The Gabonese striker has over double the number of points, 93, for Arsenal than second-placed Hector Bellerin, 42, and will likely stop the recent resurgence of the Huddersfield side that has only scored the same amount as the ex-Dortmund striker alone. Doherty gets the honour and the privilege of being included in both this and game week 14's list, but for very different reasons. The Wolves defender has bagged a goal and an assist in his last 2 games and is now the most picked player for the Wolverhampton side with 18. 7% of you selecting him. The chance of a clean sheet is likely as Wolves travel to Newcastle, who were trounced 3-0 by West Ham at home just last weekend. With Glenn Murray nursing a shoulder injury, Andun has stepped up in the last 2 games, scoring in each game and earning 16 points in the process. The Romanian screamer against Crystal Palace only got the attention of 0.2% of fantasy users, meaning a good performance from the striker against Burnley could get you some points that others have missed. Herrera has only accumulated 23 points this season, which would explain why only 0.2% have picked him. However, 17 of these points were picked up in United's last 2 games. The Red Devils' back-to-back 2-2 draws with Southampton and Arsenal saw Herrera bag his first goal and assist of the season. This alone means he is highly likely to start his 3rd game in a row against Fulham and therefore has a chance to continue his good run of form. It seems almost too obvious to include him, but for Kane, 28.5%, to be outside of the top 10 for most picked is rather surprising. The England captain has scored 4 in his last 5 games, and if we are being brutally honest, he has yet to hit anywhere near his top form. Even so, Kane is still second on the goals scored list with 9 and could add to his tally away at Leicester this weekend. The Huddersfield goalkeeper has had a solid season thus far, picking up clean sheets in game week 11 and 13 against Wolves and Fulham respectively. But a trip to Arsenal is likely to be a bridge too far for the Dane. Losl is currently 18th in points scored for goalkeepers. Don't expect this to improve this weekend. Yes, your eyes are not deceiving you. The player with the highest selection percentage, 46.8%, most points scored for a defender, 93, and joint second highest for assists, 7, Marcos Alonso, is in the ones to avoid list. Alonso is usually a sure pick for his attacking qualities as a fullback. but the Spaniard is likely to be starved of space against Manchester City, making it very difficult to provide any meaningful impact. The big guns from Chelsea keep on coming. Even Eden Hazard is likely to struggle at the weekend against Manchester City. The Belgian is second on the total points list, 94, but has only mustered 2 assists and no goals in his last 6 games. This is poor for someone of Eden's quality. Chelsea fans will be hoping I am wrong, but if City play at their fluent best, it's hard to see Hazard getting many opportunities to penetrate Guardiola's backline. Fraser has had an unbelievable season so far, bagging 7 assists, 2nd overall, and notching 86 points, 7th overall. A visit from Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool could see the Scotsman thrive in a big game, but on the contrary, could nullify any threat the 24-year-old has shown up to now. His 12 points against Huddersfield last week will be extremely hard to replicate against the likes of Virgil van Dijk. Zaha hasn't quite hit the heights of last season despite remaining one of Palace's main threats this season. The Ivorian has only managed 3 assists in his last 10 games, not hitting the back of the net since mid-September. Zaha stands a lowly 7th in terms of points scored for Palace, 46, and despite Palace having every chance of getting a result at the London Stadium, do not expect a telling impact from the Palace winger.